So this is writing and solving equations in context. So on these, you're going to have to write the equation and then you end up solving. That's why we solve before we get to these context problems. So I'm going to read the problem. And this is the example that you would also see on the computer, but or the same, yeah, anyways. So a group of friends wants to go to the amusement park. They have $80 to spend on parking and admissions. Parking is $5, and the tickets cost $18.75 per person, including tax. Write and solve an equation which can be used to determine the number of people who can go to the amusement park. So the first thing that we always have to pay is the $5. So parking is $5. So we have to pay the $5 every time. Sorry, that marker doesn't, or that pen doesn't work very well. So we have to pay the $5 every time. Doesn't matter how many people go, but we're going to have to pay $5 for parking. And this is assuming that you're only going to use one car. But so parking is $5. Ignore the little that whenever I took the screenshot, that's where it was at. But, and then it says tickets cost $18.75 per person. Well, we are looking at X is the number of people. So since it says $18.50 per person, we're going to say that X is for however many people show up. So you have the $5 plus we have to pay $18.75 times the number of people. But since we don't have or you don't ever write the multiplication sign, you would just write 5 plus 18.75x. And since it is writing an equation, remember an equation means you have an equal sign, so is equal to, and it says they have $80 to spend. So we are going to spend $80. So your equation right here would be 5 plus 18.75x equals 80. So anytime, the biggest thing is always look for that per something, and then it should tell you that the x value is the number of people. So you would know that that's your x term in this equation. Okay, now to find our answer, notice we have our equation right here. So now I'm just going to solve, just like I've been solving. So there's my variable. So I need to get the variable by itself, or isolate the variable. So I would do minus 5 and minus 5. So 80 minus 5 would be 75. Bring down your equals. 18.75x. Okay. So then the very last step, sorry, I got my calculator before it was time. So now we have 18.75 per person, or times x. So then you would divide by 18.75 and divide by 18.75. So 75 divided by 18.75 means we have 4 people. We have 4 people that could go, that we could pay for if we had $80 to spend. So if you were talking about your parents are going to take to the carnival or to an amusement park, you would have to take off the $80. So we subtract off the $5 we spend on parking. That leaves us $75 to spend on tickets. And if you divide by how much each ticket costs, that means you have 4 tickets that you can purchase. Okay, I know, like if you look at the example that's on Delta Math, they do this whole thing, and they say that that's $5, and then we have to break it into how many tickets. If that makes sense to you, perfect. If not, just know that you have to take the $5 off because that's the fee that you pay when you get there, and then you have the rest to spend on the tickets. Okay, here was another example. And sorry, I'm trying to get there to make sure I got all of the information. Oh, okay, I did. So Evan has a points card for a movie theater. He receives 55 rewards points just for signing up. He earns 4.5 points for each visit to the movie theater. He needs 100 points for a free movie ticket. So he's trying to figure out how many times does he need to go to the movies to get a free ticket. So write and solve an equation which can be based to determine x, the number of visits. Where did my highlighter go? Oh, there it is. The number of visits Evan must make to earn a free ticket. So x is the number of visits. So again, we're looking points for each visit. So that is where your x is going to go on this problem. So that is going to be x. Notice in this one, he receives 55 reward points just for signing up. So that's that starting thing. So we're going to do 55 is what he gets to start, plus he gets 4.5 per visit, which x is visits, is equal to 100 points, because we need to find out once he gets to 100. Okay, so that's what you would type in as your equation. So again, it'd be 55 plus 4.5x equals 100. And then somehow my screenshot missed it, but then it said, what's the answer? X equals blank. So now we just solve it. Again, if you have to get to 100 points, take off what you started with. So take off your start. So 4.5x is equal to 45 points. Okay. It's 4.5 per visit, so we need to divide by how much you get per visit to find out how many visits it will take. And if you're just solving, you would just divide. So 45 divided by 4.5, hopefully you can recognize that that's just 10, but I'm proving it to you in the calculator. So our answer would be 10. Later on this year, we get to where you have to give the context. So you would have to say it's not 10 people. It's like this problem up here, it was 4 people could visit. This one is 10 visits. So he has to go to the movies 10 times in order to get a free movie ticket. So that is writing and solving equations in context. Of course, they're not always going to be this exact style. But you just have to take whatever the problem is talking about, look at what it says the x value is, and that's what you're going to use for the per person, each visit, and all of that.